I've been playing RPG since I was 3 years old, and growing up in these online fantasy virtual worlds has been a very unique experience in life. And a part of me was thinking, maybe this was interesting for someone. But also, I am genuinely curious, who else has been through this in life? Because it has really shaped my mind in many ways, reflecting on it all now that I'm 25. Looking back, and it left me having to learn what most of you guys watching this video learned as a child in my 20s, in terms of how to function in society. And it has really been quite the challenge. Real life doesn't make so much sense after neglecting it for so long. And even though I was alone my whole life physically, some of my fondest and most memorable, explorative, and enjoyable moments were spent with complete strangers on the internet. It's just funny how if you saw me playing a game, I'm just a guy sitting on a computer chair, but inside it was my own universe, truly. My imagination was always just wild, and if I wasn't inside the game, I was drawing pictures, writing stories, or outside in the forest and fields pretending I'm a elf or something. It was just so adventurous, although the core of it, I always felt a missing component within me, which was companionship. I always struggled with finding like-minded people growing up because I grew up in a fairly isolated, traditional countryside place, doing things that were not very ordinary, and even though I was ostracized and ridiculed quite often, I just loved immersing myself. And I never really cared until I got older and life started to bite hard enough to start seeing what was really going on because of my family and social situation. I would say since I was 12, I began feeling a bit mentally unbalanced. A lot of depression and anxiety was already developing inside of me. But in these worlds, that didn't seem to exist, and I found refuge and haven. And at many times, that companionship for adventure with people on the internet. But in school, there was this one guy in my class, the only guy from the center of the town growing up. When I went to his house one day, his brother showed me a game called World of Warcraft, and I was just so hooked. Like, I remember distinctly the feeling of being absolutely enthralled and sucked into this whole other world. And from that day on, I begged to get the game on the computer at home. Though it was so shit, I think I couldn't get past 15 frames a second. I didn't even care, because I remember walking into the city for the first time and my eyes just popping out of my head. My heart beating like I was just awestruck that such a game existed. And every time that I walked past another player, I would feel at home or excited that there's another person in a game with me online. Because I grew up with split screen gaming with people who live close by and my brother. And all that carried on in all the MMORPGs I played. And I really enjoyed creating a persona and making my character look a certain way. And I had my first relationship on a game when I was like 11 called Fantasy Star Universe. And this game is really where I learned how to socializing and how to interact with other people, because it was a really social MMORPG. And even though there was a lot of content and missions and things to do, most people who were on to hang out and talk over voice chat and messages and create groups. And there was even secret cool places where people hung out after the hot springs for only people who could defeat the dragon, the end boss of a dungeon. And in all honesty, I had so much fun, and I really enjoyed the adventure of it. But the things I recognized, there was so much random shit going on. Like, if you walked onto the third floor immediately, your screen would light up with advertisements selling porn for Xbox points, or Masasa, which is like the in-game currency, or people wanted to buy girlfriends. And I also done all of that too, because I first learned people like you if you have a lot of stuff. And I made it a priority in a lot of ways, so I would buy the coolest clothes in the game and try to have the most money. And I scammed people, and I done all kinds of things to make money. And I realized, isn't that what most people in real life do? It's really not that different when I really reflect on it all. The only big difference is a lot of things were really raw. There wasn't so much hiding in the sense of how people hide themselves in real life. Like if you were sad, you were sad. And if you were angry, you were angry. Being anonymous online, I think, makes people very raw in some sense. And through all the online games I've played over the years, I can't even remember 3/4 of them, but League of Legends, Warcraft 3, World of Warcraft, The Elder Scrolls, Halo, Aeon, Guild Wars, the endless social browser games like RuneScape or whatever. When I always look back, it was always me truly looking for that sense of community and bond that I just couldn't find anywhere in my life. And I still have such amazing memories of having adventures, listening to the soundtracks and ambience that really makes a game a game. But in reality, there was always a lacking of richness, a lacking of true fulfillment. Because I have been playing these games, all kinds of games my entire life, with a hope that one day, one new game in the future will bring me back that same fulfillment I had as a child. As I got older and older, I realized it is never going to come, and that's it. There has to be something deeper to all of this, and it's nice to become existentially confronted to show you that. Even though it feels so horrible and hopeless and all those things. Because it's just an empty life. Your friends end up as people with an online status as last online 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You may even had long distance relationships and they just suck. You've played through all of the adventures over and over and over, already finished all the content. And even if you play a game that is still releasing content, it's just not what it was. And here comes the most painful thing, but one of the sweetest lessons you can learn is that you just have to accept things as they are so you can begin to make a change. Because I've literally been at times playing games 16 hours a day for months on end. And then saying something like, yeah, I just have to accept this is no longer giving me what it once was, and I have to walk another lane in life. It's really quite a radical shift, and a lot of people won't understand that. And you may even feel clueless or totally directionless, but you can reframe it in your mind as a whole new adventure. While it's full of mystery and terror and discomfort and just fear, that's how you begin to change yourself and find what you're truly looking for, which is that original feeling of adventure and fulfillment and life. Feeling full, feeling excited. When you begin to see why are these worlds so addicting and immersive, when you realize how you fulfill your own cup that you are, how you understand your emotions and needs, and while fulfilling them through these online worlds, kind of works in some sense that if you settle for it, if you say this is good enough, even though there are peaks and things beyond your boundaries that you couldn't even imagine. Because only when you grow up in these worlds, you can't exactly conceive what life could be like, then okay, fine. But if you are truly seeking a deeper, more rich experience of life, then I don't think these worlds are going to give it to you. And you probably know that deep in your heart. Pulling yourself out of the grave of patterns, comfort, and perceived safety requires a lot of willingness and a strong desire and trusting yourself that you can create something new. Because there may be a lot of shame where you're at in life and your incompetence, who you are, whatever, or your fear about yourself. And you probably created a lot of belief systems around yourself that I am not cool, I am not sociable, I am unlikable, I am introvert, I am shy, I am. All these things going on in your mind, but really outside into reality. And exploring things bit by bit, you begin to see these fears dissolve. They're all illusionary in your mind. And man, it's so crazy how free you feel when you see this for yourself. But you know, despite it, I have just learned how to really appreciate things in life as they are. And learning how to let go of things that are not fulfilling me anymore and not giving me what I really need anymore. Just appreciating I had this very unique opportunity to explore these amazing worlds of adventure and connection. Because I see the direction the video game industry is going, I'm like, yeah, I feel lucky. I got to do what I got to do in that time period of life. And I truly cherish and have sweet nostalgic taste in my mouth. It has been my whole life, 22 years more or less playing video games, and I respect them and love them. But I know in my heart they don't truly bring me what I want. And it's not about trying to give up or run away from video games, but truly understanding they cannot fulfill you and surrendering to that. You can finally detach. And in any moment in life, you could do whatever the fuck you want and begin all over. You could in any moment drop what you call as your life and do something absolutely totally unknown. Turning off the lights and walking around is not safe, but it's may bring you somewhere that you couldn't even imagine. And just know that the greatest adventure is always ahead of you. That's just how it is. It's right there. Always available for you when you are ready. You always have the choice, and only what you believe in your mind about yourself creates where you go in life.